Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch. We're here in Kent for the third and fourth rounds of the 2014 Grovendine Radical SR3 Challenge. First couple of races took place at Donington Park and it was Peter Belshaw and Phil Keane that took the race victory. So they come here to Kent leading the championship.
Donington was okay. I think we had a good result winning the second race. Shame about the first race, but it was good points. So yeah, good start to the year. It was wet for qualifying. I think we did an alright job. Qualified second. Pete did a brilliant job to put it on fourth. So yeah, looking forward to the race.
So let's have a look then how they line up with Stuart Mosley in pole position alongside Scott Mulvin and Lewis Plato and Peter Belshaw on row 2 from David Evans and Shaheen Nouri. Marcel Maritiotto and Jason Rishover complete the field just behind Aaron Bailey as they get ready for the off here at Brands Hatch in the Radical SR3 Challenge. So there is the yellow helmeted Stuart Mosley in the red and black car alongside the Kevin Mills racing car of Scott Mulvin, the white and blue machine, and then just in behind is Lewis Plato, who looks to try and make a good start. He's going to be boxed in here behind Mosley as the field surged towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Don't forget, this is a mandatory pit stop race. Radical SR3 Challenge, as around the back of the field goes Jeremy Ferguson. They all take evasive action and he should recover without loss of too much time as Bradley Ellis tries to climb up the order. Out front though we have a change in the lead because it is Scott Mulvin who moves clear of Stuart Mosley. Mosley and Plato then run nose to tail just behind, then it's the gap back to Peter Belshaw. Next along it is Shaheen Nouri. It's the number 7 car of Jesper Westerholm who goes around and has a spin. Probably being caught out in these early stages. I think it's a little bit chillier here at Brands Hatch than possibly the glaring sunshine would suggest, and therefore I was believing there's a little bit more heat in their rubber than actually is the case. So still Mosley and Plato circulate in tandem. And this is very good news for Scott Mulvin at the head of the field because it's giving him the opportunity to build up a little bit of a buffer. Then it's Belshaw from Bradley Ellis and Shaheen Nouri. After last year, where Lewis Plato utterly dominated the Radical SR3 Challenge, work being made a little bit harder for him in 2014. And he's got a good run here on Stuart Mosley and slides through to the inside of Mosley, goes second. Lewis Plato saw the gap. Now, has Mosley got anything to offer by way of a response? Here's the question as the pair of them accelerate into another lap, braking ridiculously late Paddock Hill Bend there. Lewis Plato, you saw he was on the brakes for about 2 seconds before he just flung the car downhill. Stuart Mosley was on the brakes fractionally longer and therefore losing a little bit of ground. There is Ellis, who has moved up ahead of Peter Belshaw. The British GT champion Bradley Ellis now trying to get himself into the wheel tracks of Stuart Mosley. There's Marcel Maritiotto, who's made a very good start to the race, staying out of trouble. And he is behind his rival driver from the Radical European Masters, Shaheen Nouri. Bradley Ellis trying to close in onto the tail of Stuart Mosley. Going to make good ground in these early stages because this being a mandatory pit stop race, there will be driver changes in many instances, and therefore everything will be turned on its head just a little bit. Druids and on their way comes this fight headed by Belshaw. Then it's Nouri and Maritiotto. Shaheen Nouri and Marcel Maritiotto both going the full distance in this Radical SR3 Challenge race. It's Peter Belshaw, as we heard a little bit earlier on, will hand over to Phil Keane. Race pit stops, but this fine performance from Belshaw, one of his strongest drives in this category to date, and he really seems to have got the car working exactly to his liking around the twists and turns of the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. These Radical SR3 Challenge cars lapping at not dissimilar lap times and lap speeds to the 3 cars. 95 miles an hour or thereabouts average speed will give you pole position. Gives you an indication of just how busy the drivers are kept behind the wheel. So still Mosley doing battle with Bradley Ellis. Then we move on to this continuing tussle headed by Peter Belshaw. They've got Jeremy Ferguson closing up onto their tail as well. So that's going to make things a little bit interesting. Meanwhile, at the front field, Scott Mulvin has been caught by Lewis Plato and then coming into a little bit of traffic as well. So Aaron Bailey, who's just ahead of them. Now that will make things tricky for Scott Malvern. Like Lewis Plato, Malvern racing with considerable success. Former British Formula Ford champion, former ARC Formula Renault champion before moving across into sports cars. Lewis Plato has been in sports cars, meanwhile, throughout the entirety of his career. But he ducks in early to make his mandatory pit stop. Also rumbling down the pit lane is Jason Rishover. That's not a bad move for some of these single driver efforts to come in before the pit lane gets too busy. Aaron Bailey doing exactly the same. He's on his way, goes Shaheen Nouri. Accelerates out of the pits, as in comes Scott Malvern to hand over to Nick Jones. There is Jones, poised and ready. Malvern's done a good job though, running out at the very front of the field. The big question is, has he given enough of a buffer to Jones vis-a-vis this man, Lewis Plato? Because Plato absolutely flying. He bade his time in the early stages, has worked his way up towards the front of the pack. Nouri and Jeremy Ferguson continue their pre-pit stop battle. Phil Keane will look to try and continue the good work done by Peter Belshaw. As here comes Nick Jones then out of the pits. Jones emerges immediately into a little bit of traffic as well. Here's the Ashton Evans car. There's Nick Jones. Oh, we've got a spinner, and that is the Korean driver Kim, who's just taken over from Stuart Mosley, and that prompts the safety car. And you can see, as the pit stops are shaking themselves out, that Lewis Plato does indeed have the lead of the race ahead of Nick Jones, Andy Cummings, and then Jesper Westerholm. As we go green once more, look at the advantage immediately Lewis Plato has opened up because of the slower cars between himself and the drivers fighting for second place. It's a golden opportunity for both Jesper Westerholm and Andy Cummings to pressurise Nick Jones as they come out of Paddock Hill Bend, all jostling for ground. Also Marcello Maritiotto making good progress, as is Shaheen Nouri. Nouri was making good progress until that spin has rotated him all the way to the back of the pack. All is not lost though for Nouri. It's 3 wide for second place, and Westerholm to the inside. He swoops clear of Andy Cummings. So just Westerholm goes third. Cummings looks to fight back. As the group of cars accelerate on. Oh, and Cummings has a big wobble as he gets the power down. That throws him into the clutches of Marcello Maritiotto. Maritiotto goes side by side with Cummings into Paddock Hill Bend. Cummings to the inside. He's got to be careful not to over-tighten there through Paddock. Andy Cummings. He loses out to Marcello Maritiotto. Also, Nick Jones has lost out to Jesper Westerholm. So it's now Westerholm second, Jones third, Maritiotto fourth, Andy Cummings in fifth. Will that soon be Maritiotto in third? He has clearly got the legs here on Nick Jones, who just seems a little bit tentative as he gets acquainted with the SR3. Nick, who has raced most notably previously in the Castle Combe Formula Ford 1600 Championship. Maritiotto gets a good run out of Clark Curve. Jones, though, knows to cover the inside line along the Brabham Straight. He's going to make Maritiotto do this the hard way as they arrive, fan out on the brakes. And Maritiotto jinks to the inside and claims third place. It's a bold move from Marcello Maritiotto. Jeremy Ferguson also takes his turn to challenge Andy Cummings. Cummings loses out, and the timing of the safety car here has really favoured those single driver efforts. You'd think, because some of the co-drivers having those laps to warm up are now being shuffled down the pack a little bit. Andy Cummings about to lose out as well to Phil Keane. Indeed does so into surtees. Onward we continue then. Nick Jones has now got Jeremy Ferguson at his tail. This is the fight for fourth and fifth. Over the start and finish line they come. Ferguson finds an opening just to the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Jones almost goes sideways, and Phil Keane looks to try and sneak through as well. As off in the background into the gravel trap goes Andy Cummings. His race at an end because he's not going to be getting out of there. Real disappointment for Andy, as out front Lewis Plato comes through, takes the checker flag and wins the first race of the weekend. Second place going the way of Jesper Westerholm. And then completing the podium, Marcel Maritotto. So look at the results. Plato wins it, 8.7 seconds clear of Jesper Westerholm, and then Maritotto in third for Jeremy Ferguson, then Belcher and Keane, Morvan and Jones.
Third in qualifying, but that's your first win of the season.
Yeah, it's a fantastic win. Obviously got unlucky at Donington and was leading the race and broke down. But it's great to come back here, especially with our sponsors. This weekend, Brookvex, MJ Quinn and BML. So it's great to get the win from. And yeah, I mean, fantastic race. The start was good, into third position, and actually got into second on a nice move in the final corner. And then really it was just catching the leader and pushing hard for them laps with consistent lap times.
You were pushing Scott Mulvin, as you say, very, very hard, but I suppose you knew that he had an extra 5 seconds in the pit stop, come the pit stop race, pit stop element of the race, but also he was handing over to a driver that probably wasn't quite as quick as him.
Yeah, exactly. There was no need to take a risk. Obviously, overheating your tyres as well, so I just kept behind him, kept the gap at the same time, and I knew once we got into the pit lane, we should come out leading.
On to race 2 then, Andy Cummings in pole position from Phil Keane, and then we have got Lewis Plato and Jeremy Ferguson on row 2. It's going to be another very competitive 40 minutes or so around the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Away we go. It's a good start from Andy Cummings. Phil Keane to the outside as Lewis Plato tries to find some space to the inside and can't do it. So it's Cummings from Keane, then Plato as they accelerate uphill as Paddock Hill bend. Immediately Phil Keane looking to the inside. Andy Cummings trying to force a way through if he possibly can. As downhill into Graham Hill bend, and Andy Cummings under pressure immediately once more from Phil Keane. Cummings defends. That's quite a little bit of a weave there. Phil Keane has got Lewis Plato though immediately on his tail. Plato trying to, at the same time, ease himself into that fight for lead, but also break clear of Jeremy Ferguson in fourth. Just think it's a matter of time here before Phil Keane is able to jump through into the lead. He's got a good run on Cummings down the Bradman Straight. Surely he's going to think about challenging into Paddock Hill bend. Which side does he go? He's got a good run to the inside here, but he's not quite close enough. Cummings brakes very lately for Paddock Hill bend. This is nothing that Keane can do on that occasion. But in terms of the way the overall race strategy can pan out, you can see that the two leaders scrapping like this is backing the entire field up into just a continuous stream behind them. Certainly Lewis Plato in third, looking to try and do what he did in race 1, which is just bide his time, wait for the right moment to challenge as Nick Jones and Marcel Maritotto go side by side into Surtees. Places Maritotto's, although Jones then looks to challenge once more into Clearways as now Phil Keane has her on Andy Cummings. The lead changes. Keane goes through, and can he break clear out front? You can get a sense, given the way that Keane has been hustling these early laps, that he may be able to build a reasonably nice buffer at the front of the pack. Now means it's the turn of Lewis Plato to take his challenge to Andy Cummings. It's good stuff though from Cummings. He's learnt a lot over the last few years, Radical Racing, partnering alongside Bradley Ellis more often than not. It's good to see him running with genuine leadership pace. The problem he's got though now is he's going to have to defend from Plato, who's going to try every trick in the book to dart through. Looks to the inside at Clearways, but again Cummings does exactly what he needs to do, which is stick to the racing line. And because these cars are so evenly matched, it makes it incredibly difficult to find your way through around the outside unless the driver in front of you makes an error. Plato then shows himself to the inside of Cummings and Paddock Hill bend. Again, he's not close enough to make the move on that occasion, so uphill they will come into Druids, out to the hairpin, onto the left-hander at Graham Hill bend, and then the sprint along the Cooper Straight into Surtees. So it's Cummings from Plato. Then we've got Jeremy Ferguson, Jesper Westholm also joining in as Plato looks to make the move and gets squeezed out and has the spin. Disappointment there for Lewis Plato. He will be able to recover, but he will be right at the back of the pack as out front Phil Keane leads the way. As you can see, has built up a very comfortable buffer over the rest of the field. This then is the fight for third, because Jeremy Ferguson has been able to sneak through. So just Westholm and Andy Cummings busy doing battle. They're getting in amongst some of the traffic as well, which is going to make things far from easy. Nonetheless, they find the space. Shaheen Nouri, Marcio Maratoso also looking to join in. So it's a four-way scrap for third position. It's currently in the hands of Andy Cummings, but we're not too far away from the pit window opening. And Cummings handing over to the very rapid Bradley Ellis, whereas Jesper Westerholm is going to go the whole distance single-handedly. So the point at which, given that ferocity of tussling, the driver's getting called in his key. So here is Jeremy Ferguson in second position as Cummings, Westerholm, Plato and Nouri all come in on the same lap. So the pit lane a buzz. The team's very well versed though, making these pit stops, so everything nice and controlled. Also in is Kim to hand over to Stuart Mosley. Shaheen Nouri has his tire pressures checked. Lewis Plato debriefed, and Jeremy Ferguson deciding to run an extra lap or so in splendid isolation. The rest of the field have their pit stops, so out they come. Bradley Ellis clear of Nouri. So that is a good jump in the pit stop for Bradley Ellis, particularly as here is Jesper Westerholm, who loses some of the track position to Ellis as the race leader. Phil Keane comes in to hand over to Peter Belshaw. And Keane has built a very, very comfortable buffer for Belshaw to assume here. Consequently, the team able to make this a nice and leisurely pit stop. No rush for Keane or Belshaw. They want to make sure everything happens exactly as it should. And then they'll be back into the fray as Shaheen Nouri tucked up behind Aaron Bailey. It's been a much better race today for Bailey. They are busy fighting over 4th and 5th position. As Peter Belshaw emerges from the pits, and he's going to emerge into a very comfortable lead over Jeremy Ferguson and then Bradley Ellis. Belshaw and Phil Keane, they thought all weekend that they'd have the pace. Lewis Plato and Stuart Mosley busy getting locked into battle, but this is down for 7th and 8th place, really not where they'd want to be. For Plato, his championship aspirations taking a little bit of a knock, particularly as Mosley's got the inside run up the hill towards Druids. Lewis Plato able to sufficiently squeeze out Mosley to make sure there's no way through there for Stuart. As they then arrive downhill into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, swooping around. Short sprint onward towards Surtees. Again, a really entertaining race. Plenty of excitement battling. Lewis Plato is caught in this stream of traffic. It's just behind Jesper Westerholm, Shaheen Nouri. So Scott Wolford is part of this group as well, at least in terms of track position, as we go to the fight for 2nd and 3rd, because Bradley Ellis has comprehensively caught Jeremy Ferguson. Ferguson consults his mirrors. He's now going to come under maximum attack from Bradley Ellis. Will be looking to make up for the disappointment of race 1 when he and Cummings failed to make it through to the checkered flag. Second time around though, right behind Jeremy Ferguson. He's running out of laps though. Bradley Ellis needs to make this move sooner rather than later. The minutes ticking by. So this looks to the outside of Ferguson into Paddock Hill Bend. He's not going to be able to challenge there. He's just going to try and force instead Ferguson to run off the racing line. Maybe get the opening that way. So around Druids they come. On towards the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend. And then accelerating a short, sharp shoot of the Cooper Straight into Surtees. And Bradley Ellis is not quite close enough just at the moment to Jeremy Ferguson to really cause Ferguson any sort of concern. Ferguson 2 or 3 car lengths clear, but because these cars are to all intents and purposes identical, and the braking distances are so short in these radical SR3s, you really need to be within a car length to challenge at all. But now this could be the opening for Bradley Ellis. They come up onto the tail of Jason Rishover in traffic, and Ellis is pushed wide in fact by Rishover, but he's immediately on the turns of Jeremy Ferguson. He has that outside track through Druids and is now close enough to surely think about launching a challenge into Graham Hill Bend. Bradley Ellis darts for the move and goes through. Jeremy Ferguson saw him in the nick of time. He had to let Bradley Ellis take the place because Ellis was alongside by the time Jeremy Ferguson wanted to turn in. Meanwhile, for the race victory, it is going to be Peter Belshaw and Phil Keane. So let's have a look at the final results. Belshaw and Keane win it, Andy Cummings, Bradley Ellis in 2nd, Jeremy Ferguson in 3rd, Aaron Bailey doing a great job 4th, ahead of Shaheen Nouri, Jesper Westerholm and Lewis Plato.
Guys.
applause and champagne on the podium.
You came to Brands Hatch leading the championship. You'll leave Brands Hatch still leading.
Yeah, no, can't have so much more than that, especially with our 15-second penalty as well, so chuffed to bits.
B, your driving just seems to be coming on leaps and bounds all the time. I know Phil is working hard. You're not inexperienced, but you are such a quick driver nowadays.
Well, it makes it easy when Phil gets me at the front and out of trouble. You know, Phil did the hard work. I just brought it home, basically.
So leaving Brands Hatch, it's Peter Belshaw and Phil Keane who head the standings clear of Jeremy Ferguson, Jesper Westerholm, who's only 2 points ahead of Cummings and Ellis.
Some great close and competitive racing in the SR3 Challenge this weekend here at Brands Hatch. We saw 2 different winners, but leaving Brands Hatch leading the championship are Peter Belshaw and Phil Keane. Join us when we head back to Snetterton in Norfolk for the next 2 rounds.